Hello, guys. Welcome to the Desi Bowlers podcast. Hey, Gopal, what's up?
Namaste. We are in election season in Karnataka right now. So I'm going full election mode. Modi ji was here behind our house, Nikhil, I
Right.
think.
He was
Oh,
in front of my house as well
yeah.
yesterday.
But yeah,
So,
good thing we are at home doing podcasts. I think that's good for.
dude, so off topic,
Ha.
Modi ji has achieved God status, I would say, in in India, in Bangalore, depending on the kind of following which came out for him. So, look, everyone knows this in India, especially that politicians they can buy a lot of people to come and join rallies.
Hmm.
But what I saw yesterday and today, I don't think you can buy that, dude. Like people were coming out, as though he's giving darshan to people.
Yeah, man. What can I say, dude? Modi ji is the goat.
Yeah, he's trending towards good politician of India. So,
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
so guys,
Amazing.
let's get started. Uh, Gopal, just before the show started, you asked me how was my day, right? I had a very bad day, honestly. Uh, I don't know, like every time I watch a game, and of course it's one of my favorite teams playing. GSW is my favorite team since
Hmm.
2015. Like 2016, for example, was one of my worst years. A few weeks after the Warriors lost the championship, I actually tore my ACL.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
I
Hmm.
tore my ACL, and it took me a year to recover again, and I still haven't started playing normally.
Hmm.
Uh, because of that fear. And 2016, I attribute one of the reasons I tore my ACL was also my mind was, still stuck on that loss which happened for the Warriors in the finals. And anytime they lose, especially a game like this, where
Hmm.
it almost feels like it's the Warriors versus the world. It almost feels like everything around is conspiring to make us lose. I just had a terrible day, man. I i don't know. So
Not
guys, for
like
those of
80.
you who are just joining us, we are reacting to the Warriors Lakers game. uh, I just shared with Gopal, how I basically had a terrible day because they lost, and because of the way they lost, and because the kind of game this was, where I thought it was easily in the bag. So, Gopal, your thoughts? Can you summarize the game for me? I don't even want to summarize it.
Yeah, man, it was basically as I think that's what we went with, right? In our caption to this episode, AD is alternate day, right?
Right.
So specifically, it was the AD show, and the Warriors were not able to counter adjust within the game because the main thing, as we saw with the Warriors, a lot of pick and rolls which worked for them in the previous game, but this time AD was not playing that drop coverage, right? He was sort of that show and that initial show and then dropping. So that caused a lot of disruption, confusion, deflections, which sort of put the Warriors out of sync offensively. So yeah, that was in terms of Lakers defense, and also LeBron had one of his aggressive, I'm going to drive into the paint, I'm going to post up, all those things that we hoped the adjustments that LeBron would do. So yeah, it's basically the counter, man. The question was, do the Lakers have a counter? And the answer is yes. So now it's time for the counter, which I think is going to be a
I
lot of.
can't. I can't believe of all the things you're giving these reasons, Gopal. Did you see the same game I was watching?
Yeah, man. Why? Why? What did you see?
Warriors comfortably controlling the game, going on runs, and then the refs decided, no, we
Oh, okay.
can't have the Lakers losing in five.
You're going with the ref. Okay, yeah.
37 free throws to like 8 free throws. Every time Warriors felt like they were getting some momentum, they were getting called for fouls, for technical fouls, for ticky tack fouls, and they were getting whacked on the other end, and absolutely no calls. And everyone is like, oh, obviously, like, theek hai. I mean, Warriors, they don't drive and all that. And I didn't see that. I saw them being physical. I saw them trying to draw charges. I mean, look at this. Did you see that play? No call. How is that a no call? That guy literally tripped Jordan Poole. Look at this. He whacked him on his leg while he's going for a jump shot, not giving any space of landing. Ref is right there. Ref is right there. He is like 3 feet from there. He's looking at his leg. And it's like he's grinning. He doesn't care. Dude, the Warriors' offense is something which, once it gets going, it can't be stopped. And the only way you stop it is if you put the other team on the foul line. And I absolutely, absolutely hated what the NBA, Adam Silver, and the refs did to the Warriors today.
Oh wow, you're going ultra conspiracy.
Wasn't
I
okay. So I want you to, if you feel I'm doing this as a conspiracy, forget about when the game got away,
huh?
right? I'm specifically talking about that run which the Lakers had, where they ended up taking the lead.
Hmm.
How do you stop a motion offense if your defense is not working? The way you stop a motion offense is you don't let them be in motion. And that's what Lakers managed to do by making sure that the refs gave every single call to them. I saw layups where Steph Curry is getting whacked in his head and the ref is not even reacting. And on the other side, where AD is just like he's not even getting bumped, dude. He's just touching the defender and he's getting called for a foul.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so
What
yeah,
is that? What the hell is that?
we did
This was
watch
one of the
different games.
worst. This is one of the worst officiated games I saw. There was no flow in the game. Lakers didn't have a flow in their offense. They were just getting to the line every single time. It was absolutely pathetic, in my opinion.
Yeah, so again, so to be fair, right? Our sort of analysis after game two was that the refs have to also be on the Lakers team, right? We spoke about that last time,
Right.
right? So my thing is that even if you need to give the refs an occasion to call in your favor, right? So I just think in that sense, I like
No,
the
man.
fact.
Look, if you say that fact, it's like you're basically saying Warriors didn't get to the line, and I mean didn't drive, and that's not true. They drove a lot. It's not like they were settling for jump shots. They were driving in. They were trying to initiate contact, but there's no one willing to even look. Like they're looking at it and they're just holding the whistle. Then when Warriors had the possession, I think the refs were like keeping the whistle in their pockets. Like, I'm like, what the hell? Are you not seeing this? And on the other side, I mean, ticky-tack fouls, nothing's going on. It's just normal playoff basketball, just getting bumped, just a basic amount of push, and that's a call. Like, what the hell?
Well, what can I say? Like I said, I think. I mean, the refs. Well, you're in vent mode, so I.
Fine,
so
I'll stop my venting, but I just felt really bad today since the entire day because of this one stupid thing. But fine, I'm just gonna stop venting. Go ahead, Gopal.
no, so my like I said, right? My point is, I think the Lakers generally and AD in particular, like these are legit blocks. Okay, these are not. So I'm just saying, I
How
get
is
you.
that not a foul? AD got Andrew Wiggins got a poster on him, but AD was shoving him while he was in the air. How is that not a foul?
Play that again. What shoving?
How
Come
is
on,
this
man.
not the foul? How is this not a foul? Tell me.
क्या
Okay, so tell me this.
playoff basketball, dude. क्या shoving? क्या?
Yeah, right. Playoff basketball only on the Warriors side, not on the Lakers. How this is not a foul? Huh? This is not a foul. Huh?
He initiated, he leaned into him, bro.
No, 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 no. He's behind him and he's bumping him, dude. Like, how is that an air ball? Like, he's 2 feet away. That's not an air ball, dude. He just got bumped in his elbow and his hand.
Arey, why are you getting so worked up? Anyway, next game AD will not play like this. He's not going to put in this much effort. So
Dude, my
Warrior,
point. Okay, so one of the reasons I'm getting so worked up is I was reading this post the other day and they were comparing Steph Curry's and LeBron's legacy. And for Nike and the NBA, if you really break it down, the only thing which prevented LeBron from becoming the GOAT is that man right there, Steph Curry. So why do
agreed,
I say that?
agreed.
He's bumped him in the playoffs 4 times in the finals with KD, without KD, whatever it is. And if it weren't for the Warriors and Steph Curry, LeBron it probably ends with 7 rings, which will be one more than Jordan, which plays right into the narrative of the NBA and Nike and all these amazing brands. That okay, we have a the chosen one is now the goat, and I think you may say that oh, I'm going conspiracy theory mode. I do not think these calls change in Game 4 as well. It's like Warriors are starting the game 0-30. And the only way the Warriors win Game 4 is if they can come back from 30 points down. Go ahead, Gopal.
So in other words, Warriors have to dominate so much that basically the refs are like a sixth man. That, I mean, I'm just going by what you're saying, right? That it has to be so dominant that even if the refs are not calling what I would say 50-50 calls, right? In that case,
Okay, so forget about the Warriors getting the call. I genuinely want to ask you,
yeah.
did the Lakers really deserve 37 more free throws?
So if it was 27 more free throws, like my point is
Dude,
like.
you are see the error which you're making is this. So okay, Lakers came back, right?
Hmm.
Now during that run there was a lot of missed calls, I feel, and there was a lot of unnecessary calls. Forget about that. In the third quarter, when Warriors started hitting some shots and started making a comeback, they again went on a series of continuous calls, 2, 3, 4 calls. How is a team supposed to get in rhythm at that point? So a 6, 7 point game becomes a 20 point game in a few possessions, just like that. So people will be like, "Oh, imagine it's just 10 less free throws. Will that help?" It's not a question of the amount of free throws, Gopal. It's the time in which those free throws are getting called. It's times when momentum is swinging and you're affecting the game with your whistle instead of letting the players play. That's my point. That's where I get so upset.
Yeah, that's
But
fair. Uh,
I want to ask you, maybe I'm a biased fan. I want to ask you, you don't seem to have any, like you don't like the Lakers or the Warriors. You're like, "ठीक है, कौन है दिखते?" But I want to ask you, like genuinely, were the Lakers so much more aggressive than the Warriors that they deserve 30 more free throws?
uh, I think AD was definitely more aggressive. There's no doubt about that. I think LeBron.
And Draymond
sh-
was not defending him with fouling. I want to ask you.
so the advantage AD had was he was able to get that running start. Okay, I think because when AD gets it deep in the post against Draymond, I think that's when Draymond is at his best, right? He can completely negate AD. But in this case, I felt AD was getting the ball a bit further out and he was able to get that initial dribble and drive left, drive right, and then use his length. I think that is definitely something that I saw in this game that I was not seeing earlier, right? So my point is, from my side, I'm glad you're claiming that I'm objective. I still think, yeah, it would have made a 15-point swing, even if you factor in the referees and stuff. But I get your point also. The timing of those calls, I know exactly what you're talking about. The third quarter, right, when they were,
Yeah,
that's when you thought this game is over. They could have really like ended it, the Warriors, right? And that's what. So the timing of the calls, yes. Uh, but that again is a point. We knew, like, we should assume this is going to happen, right? We sort of knew this is going to happen. Uh,
but to this extent, man. Anyway, guys, apart from the calls which I've ranted about for 14 minutes, let's talk about another factor which was very interesting, which was Austin Reeves on Steph Curry and Vanderbilt on Draymond Green. There was a very nice adjustment from David Ham. Although, yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about the fouls again, but yeah, go ahead, Gopal. So, what did you think of this adjustment by David
yeah,
Ham?
I thought it was a great adjustment initially, but I still think that Reeves on Steph is not necessarily. I mean, Steph is happy with that, but yeah, the advantage of having Vanderbilt or Draymond Green is obviously then he becomes the guy who switches,
Right.
right? So that definitely makes a difference. But again, I don't think that was for me. AD being more aggressive in terms of showing, right? It was not that drop coverage, because guys, I mean, initially it was like Clay going off, right, in the first quarter and a half. That was, so for the first quarter and a half, AD was still doing that drop coverage things, right? And Clay was able to get those Clay type shots off, right? And then we saw AD being more aggressive. So for me, I think that was a difference. And also Lonnie Walker, right? I think he deserves a mention for the Lakers, because we were talking
He
about
stepped
how
up. Yeah.
he stepped up, right? D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, they're both liabilities on defense, and I think Lonnie Walker, from whatever I could see, he seems to be like a two-way player, solid on both sides of the ball. But yeah, I mean, I know this doesn't this doesn't answer your point. But my point, so if I was the Warriors, right, I do think there is still one counter in terms of, this is where I go back to, we haven't seen the mid-range game of the Warriors, right? My point is, if AD is going to play you like this, and the refs, let's assume the refs stay the same, right? So let's just keep aside the refs for a moment, right? So my point is, then I still feel like Clay and Steph should be able to get those two dribbles inside and force AD to make a hard decision. Because now what AD was doing, he was just doing the initial show and then dropping off, right? Until the guy who got screened, Vanderbilt or whoever, got back into the play, right? Until the primary defender got back. I think Clay or Steph should not wait for the primary defender to come back. They should do like a CP3 sort of thing, where they get inside, get those two dribbles to the free throw line, and then show their mid-range game, right? Pull AD out for the contest, and then automatically you get Kevon Looney and Draymond Green crashing the offensive boards. I think this is a counter that I think the Warriors have to do, assuming, of course, AD is not alternate day and becomes consistent. Which so I still don't think, in the larger scheme of things, this is just a one-off. I still see the Warriors making the adjustments, uh, and yeah, I think. But it's good. It's good for me, man. Like I said, for me, like heart, mind, I'm like, let it go to 6-7. I don't care how it goes. It may piss off people like you, but I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. So yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen in game 4.
Okay. So, guys,
I love you're like fuming, bro. Like man, crazy. Okay.
for, I don't know, man. I guess I'm one of those people who ends up taking things personally. And although the crazy part is obviously, like, as I don't affect the game in any way, I can't pass on the message to anyone. The idea here is this. This is how sports fans are. If you didn't know.
Yeah. Of course, of course.
So, so guys,
Wow.
with that
Okay.
big sigh, let's move on to the next game. That's your Knicks Heat game, and then let's talk about Jimmy right here. So this is how I expected the Warriors Lakers series to go, because of how similar the Heat and Warriors are in their play style. Uh, because that's the thing, right? Like, with high quality coaches, with people who run a very motion offense, even if there's isos are well planned, well sorted out. You have a player who can handle double teams. They're very similar. People don't understand. They have a highly switchable defense. They have a big who creates a lot of plays. Bam, Draymond. They follow a very similar playbook. Shots like this is what Clay does. What you just saw. So this is how I expected the Warriors Lakers series to go. But this Miami Heat, if this is how they play, forget about the Knicks. I would be scared if I were the Celtics.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
go ahead, Gopal. How did you like this game?
Yeah, no, exactly. Like for me, the for me the Heat defense, especially, I think, dude, it was elite. It was scary, right? They just completely took the Knicks out of the game. Like in the first quarter and a half, you like they had given up. Like I think even Jalen Brunson is still such a fighter. He will find a way to always come onto the box score, right? But Randall was like the effort was there. Okay, Julius Randle, the sheer like physicality, he kept going and going, but Bam, I think this was a Bam game as far as I'm concerned. And Kevin Love also. I didn't think Kevin Love had that level of, uh, that I'm talking about old Kevin Love, right? Timberwolves time when he went 30
Yeah,
rebounds,
right,
30
right.
points. That was the level of Kevin Love that we saw. I didn't think he had that at this stage of his career. I think the Heat defense was brilliant,
Yep,
and the Knicks were in a way, like you said, they don't have that. With the Knicks, what I see is just ISO ball, right? You have those the three guys who are just like basically isolation game, uh, and then that's easy to guard against, right? Especially when all three of them. I mean, it's not like they are all legit outside, consistent outside shooters, right? So I think it's more of the Knicks. Uh, being predictable on the offensive end, and the Heat again, man, like shout out again to the franchise, 7 undrafted players in the team, out of which all of them get legit minutes when it matters. So yeah, the Heat is looking very very dangerous. I'm already thinking ahead of a Heat Celtics series, I think, because uh, you know Miami Heat don't have those mental lapses, right? If,
exactly.
if, if they're losing, it's
It's
because
because the other team has outplayed them, or Jimmy Butler is
or
not
Jimmy Butler
performing.
is injured, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Celtics is not going to get the Sixers type leeway where we'll obviously talk about Harden and all of that, right? They don't make mental
Mistakes.
lapses,
Yep, yep.
right? So yeah, man, this is a scary Heat. I don't, again, with the Knicks also. I don't see how.
What do they do to win? I don't
Yeah,
know. Other than Jalen Brunson just going for 50,
yeah.
which like on a good day maybe he can steal, they can steal another game. I don't see how they win three more games.
Exactly. It's tough because, see, with the Cavs, you can still make out the Cavs were, unprepared for the playoffs, right? So it's more about the Cavs not being ready for the playoffs rather than the Knicks. Knicks are just the Knicks, right? They're just brutal, physical. They won't do anything fancy, but they'll be solid. They won't be spectacular,
Yep.
right? So I don't see. That's what, something really crazy has to happen. I still think the Knicks will go back and win one. Uh, but but yeah, I think this series is, it looks done. And Jimmy Butler is moving so well, dude.
I know, like I guess him just taking that day off extra, you know,
Weak.
extra week off. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was a very good decision. I mean, if wow, like he came back from the ankle sprain as though nothing really happened.
Man, he's it. Dude, this is a brilliant roster. I love it. I love the Heat playing this way. I think it's good for the Eastern Conference. I'll be honest, more than anything else. So so yeah, this series. If they do reach the Eastern Conference Finals, they'll be apparently only the second team in the last ever
Yeah,
to be an eighth
as
seed.
the
That
eighth seed. Yeah,
yeah. So
that'd
and
be
it
huge.
does look that way. So yes, at one point it honestly felt like there were 10 Miami Heat players playing defense, right?
Right.
so so the Knicks, well,
Good effort by the Knicks. I don't think you guys probably don't even win another game because the Heat are someone who are hunters. They'll make sure you're dead. They are assassins. They don't take chances.
dude, Randall had more turnovers than buckets, more fouls than buckets at one point. I don't know if it got better towards the end. But yeah, this is again a classic physical game, and I think the Miami were ready for it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Then
right
they
with
have the
the
roster for it.
Yeah,
I think on yeah.
Randall was able to bully the Cavs, okay, and
Right.
able to, but you can't bully Adebayo and all.
Right.
I mean, there are times when Adebayo has, again, he's one guy. I think he still has these off nights,
Right.
but I don't think you can just physically bully a team like the Heat.
Right. So let's play this. That's now let's move on to the next game, which is your Nuggets Suns.
Oh, this is fun,
This
dude.
was a fun game.
This is fun.
I watched this game. So Gopal, this is what I'm talking about, right? Look, I don't have a problem. I tell this again and again. A lot of times people are like, "Oh, you're reacting like this just because you lost." In this series, I favor the Nuggets to win. I like the Nuggets. I like their play style. I love it. And
Wait,
It's the
are you calling the refs on this also?
no, of
No, okay.
course not. Because
Because KD got to the line. Just
no,
saying.
no, he got to the line. My point is this: it didn't feel like the refs were creating momentum issues. It didn't feel like the refs were favoring one side of the whistle. It didn't feel. It felt like a good game where you just got to tip your hat to the Phoenix Suns. This is what they're capable of doing. They're capable when Booker and KD has it going to put up huge numbers. And then I must say, so I'll to quickly summarize this game. Right, this game started well. I think the Suns had a lead going into the second quarter, into the half, and in the third quarter, the Nuggets made a very nice comeback. They ended up getting a lead of a cushion of about 6 8 points, and then that quickly vaporized when Devin Booker just decided to take over, hit every shot, and the Nuggets for whatever reason couldn't find the basket. So this was basically the story of the game. It was a very exciting game to watch because even though the Nuggets were down quite a lot towards the end, remaining 3 4 minutes, I they were creating superb open shots, and it's just a function of making or missing.
Yeah.
These are the kind of games that you enjoy watching because you have the stars going at it, but the only difference is on one side the stars are not making the shot, on the other side the stars are. It was a fun, exciting game, guys. When I say that Warriors lost and I'm upset, it's not because they lost, it's because of how the game played out. It didn't feel like a good game to watch, even as an audience. Who the hell wants to see a team go to the line 40 times in a game? Like, so this is the kind of game where even if you have a loss and you're rooting for the team, you're okay. You're like, you just got to tip the hat to the other side. They just played so much better. And I absolutely love watching them. Gopal, what about you?
Yeah. So for me, I think this game was an eye opener in the sense that, and I don't think this is something that uh,
Is one
the
off.
Suns, yeah, the Suns or KD intended it. I think KD was missing so many shots, he had no choice but to drive.
Drive. Yeah.
And in the course of doing that, I
Yeah.
think they have found like the one gap in the Nuggets, which is they have no rim protection.
Right.
Okay, which I think makes automatically now makes this series very
Very
interesting,
interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
very
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, because now you have and the beauty of it, what KD did in terms of driving in, one is I have not seen him do this since his OKC days. I think I'm talking about KD driving it like having no regard for his body, like just
Right. Right.
going time after time, drive. And
Right.
this is something, the best part is when you have two dynamic scorers
Right.
like AD and Devin Booker.
Right.
The beauty is they can figure out whose shot is going strong, and the
Right.
other guy can become like the driver,
Right.
right? So I think, and I think this is what they should do, especially when they don't have a deep bench, and this is something
Right.
they can do. I think they can
Right.
keep doing this. So I still feel
This.
there were some gaps. Like MPJ, I feel like should have had a better game. Like I think he was due.
Yeah. And in fourth quarter, Jamal Murray just couldn't get an open basket. He took so many threes, 4 5 threes, all of them wide open. Didn't didn't even come close to hitting those shots.
Not just that, man. Like there were possessions where he was honestly over dribbling in the sense
Right.
that
Right. Right. Yeah.
entire 24 seconds he took just trying to get open, and then it was contested also,
Right.
right? But I still think in his case,
It's
I don't think that
excusable.
it is excusable. Like
Yeah.
because you are one of the guys on your team. You're like the alpha, so I think you're allowed that. But man, this makes the series very interesting
Right.
because the Suns know now that the Nuggets team can be beat. Okay, so I
Yeah,
expect
that's
more of
that's a
this.
big load off them. Now I want to talk about one more fact about this particular game, which I think got understated, which was because CP3 was not in the game, the Suns played so much faster.
Yes, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh my
Campaign,
god.
man. Yeah.
Campaign knows how to push the ball.
Yes.
He's not passive like CP3. He just goes, like and I think that's the way which the Warriors beat the Nuggets last time, which is even with your Jamal Murray and all of that. The problem with the Nuggets is on the defensive end they can't defend a fast team. I think
Yeah.
the defense works really well for a half court set defense,
Correct.
and if they you can aggressively push the ball, right, like the way campaign did. I loved it. Let's talk about another silly point I noticed. I think the Suns should just bench Aiton
Oh no, yeah, yeah, correct.
because
Who was the
they're
backup center? What's the guy's name?
Jock Langford or something like that.
Ha ha ha. Dude, he was brilliant.
He was amazing. I absolutely loved watching him. The hustle which he bought, the effort which he bought, the contest he did. He made it very hard for Jokic to get anything going, and that's saying a lot. Like Jokic is not someone you stop very easily.
Yeah,
And Aiton, I think, should be benched in the series. He is a liability. I don't know how. I was very surprised.
yeah, yeah. The guy's name is Landale. I was just checking that. So yeah, Landale is a guy. Yeah, I agree that Aiton and he was out of the rotation by the
Yeah,
I
I
think
know.
fourth.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. So this was very interesting to see. The moment Atom would come on the floor, right? Jokic would just attack him and get an easy bucket. And then when he would come
yeah.
off
It
the
was so
court,
so distinct.
when he would come off the court, Jokic is not as aggressive because Landale is doing a superb job at him, putting a lot of
Yeah,
effort.
I also think there's one adjustment. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. I did notice this is that the Suns were playing Jokic for the pass.
Right,
Okay, which I think they were not intentionally doing previously.
right,
Right, so I think, and a lot of Jokic had, I think, a surprisingly high number of turnovers because the Suns were expecting him to. They were playing him for that pass.
right,
Okay, so I think Jokic needs to just sort of be prepared for that and slightly be more aggressive in terms of taking the shot so that the defense again sort of hones in on him again. So I think these were the adjustments that the Suns made on both ends of the floor. Uh, right. So yeah, and KD especially, like you look at this, right? This is someone like KD. I think he got to the free throw line and he was able to score in transition.
right.
Uh, so so which was huge for him. Otherwise, he was having as shitty a game as ever.
Yeah. I wonder why his shots are not going, and I think it's a scary thought for the Nuggets that if KD gets his shot going, that's going to be
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
scary.
It is going to be scary.
Although Gordon is playing him, and I think Gordon is doing as good of a job you can do to play a KD as anyone.
You talk about Gordon. Like I think Gordon also, credit to him, he's found a way to be effective offensively. Okay, like
Absolutely,
that point in transition, where he's running up against the smaller guards, and
right,
obviously Jokic is going to find him, right? So
right,
he's sealing in transition, which
right,
I think is one of the many reasons why the Nuggets are so deadly on offense, right?
right.
Every opportunity to score, they
Is
score.
yeah. Any mistake, that's what it's the same thing with the Warriors. Any mistake you make, you're dead. That's a three or a easy layup. So
Yeah.
this would be a fun series to watch. Based on the game I saw on, I want to see more close games in the series.
I think it would be. I think now it's just going to be like war. It's now like a
Absolutely,
heavyweight battle. I think
yeah,
both teams have made the adjustments. Like
right.
Landale is going to whatever start or he's going to play 25, 20, 26 minutes.
I have an interesting point to discuss with Gopal. Of all the players remaining in the playoffs, okay, the best, most athletic, most physically gifted player, in my opinion, is DeAndre Ayton. But he, I don't know what he wants to do with that size and that athleticism. Dude, his physique is like a Greek god. He looks like David Robinson, Gopal. He
Yeah,
looks like a
yeah.
goat.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
good
I mean,
analogy.
he
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like
yeah.
a center. He has potential. He looks like that, right?
Yeah.
But when you see him play, you're like, कौन है भाई ये टाइम पास किए जा रहा है.
I have a question. I don't know if you know the answer to this because when the Suns made it to the finals, right?
Right,
There was all this talk about Aiton getting a max contract.
right.
Did he actually get it? Because I'm
No, he
like,
didn't get a max
thank
contract,
God.
but he got close. No, he got close to the max. So
Ha.
he got like 130 mil or something.
Oh wow. I was
So
like, at
he,
least I was thinking, okay, front office saved that money. They're giving him the max contract because the way he's playing right now is not max deserving.
dude, he
Okay.
got 4 years, $132 million. It's like close to max.
No, no. So
The
bench
max
him.
was
Yeah, yeah. Bench him and then hope that affects his ego, perhaps.
exactly. I don't know. Like, it's Aiton is someone who can be what AD is on good days. Like, he has all those physical assets and attributes.
Yeah, but Aiton is not going to hit threes. I don't see Aiton having
Dude,
that
but he
level.
has a good mid-range jumper.
Yeah,
He has he has on paper, right? He has everything. It's just that Jokic is out rebounding him, man. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
saddest. Have you seen Jokic? Like he can't jump on a brick.
yeah, yeah. No, I think these adjustments, Landale, campaign,
Yeah.
KD driving,
I
these
think
three.
it's CP3. If he's watching this, I don't think he should come back because if he comes back, he's gonna get abused by Jamal Murray.
I honestly I think CP3 is a point where, however I get a ring,
I just want it, yeah.
yeah, and it's fair. I think if you look at career में lifetime achievement के लिए एक ring मिला ठीक है. I honestly don't think CP is complaining. This
Yeah.
also buys him time, right? Every win that the
Yeah.
Suns get.
Yeah.
So yeah, great stuff.
So it was a fun game. But yeah, this is the next game which we wanted to react to, which was it got overextended a bit our reaction. But the Sixers Celtics. Now here's the
Ooh,
thing, right? Like this the that's the thing with the Celtics. When they want to, they
two
are
two games in a row, bro. 2 games in a row they
they're
maintained it.
unstoppable, bro. It's you see the Celtics team, right? I No one looks better than them, Gopal, when they are
Yeah,
serious and when they don't have mental lapses. No one looks better than them.
yeah,
Such a
yeah.
deep team. Everyone is like doing superb work. Al Horford is consistent. Al Horford is freaking shooting 44% this year from three.
And the timing of his threes, bro. Like when the team needs it, he gets that.
Yeah, every critical shot. It's like whenever the whenever the Celtics needed a three, he just hit it,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it was. Dude, this team, I'm honestly telling you, if they don't win the ring this year, it's like just disband this team, man. Like
I agree. I agree
it,
because no, it's not like
no
uh,
one else is looking as good as. So Denver Nuggets and Celtics are the only teams which are looking like championship teams.
not the Warriors.
No, Warriors still, I mean, they've not been able to put that championship sort of game, dude. Like where they're dominant from the get. And you can say the previous game they were, well, that game you can say that they had a lot of wide open threes. I'm saying against a good team, the six against see, in my opinion, I don't think this Lakers team is a great team. I'm not even
Okay,
like
that way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because if you can see so many flaws in this Lakers team, right? But if I bring the Sixers up, Sixers have a good team, a good defensive team, a good offensive team, a good coach. And I'm talking about all these attributes as a team. And Celtics just making them look. And it was not like so Lakers in game two, you can argue that they just gave up by the second
Hmm.
quarter.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That was not the case with the Sixers. Sixers tried to do as much as they could. You just can't keep up with the Celtics team, dude. They're too deep, too experienced.
The only my only thing with the Celtics is like I was telling you last time, they don't have a single guy with championship winning experience.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that because there is always that moment that thoda sa self doubt, right? I'm climbing a mountain I've never climbed before, and I
right.
think that is what affects guys like Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum. Just that 2% of like I've
That's enough to lose two
yeah.
possessions, and when you go deeper in the playoff, that's enough to lose a game.
That's my only issue is that they should just got one veteran presence, someone like even if
Right.
someone like Udonis Haslem who's just on the bench or whatever.
I don't know why they didn't go after PJ Tucker crazily. He was available. Uh, Tucker, of course, has a history with Daryl Morey, so of course, he went there. But if I were the Celtics, I would have made a very aggressive push on Tucker.
Yeah, just someone, just one. I think that's the only thing missing for the Celtics.
I have an interesting thing to ask you here. So in the Heat, they actually have two championship players, Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry, in the starting lineup.
That does matter. That's what I'm saying. I
And
think it
I
matters.
wonder. So let's project a little bit, right? So if they do end up matching in the Eastern Conference Finals, of course we're getting ahead of ourselves. If they do end up matching in the Eastern Conference Finals,
Hmm.
I wonder how much that plays into it. Because, dude, I don't know why Celtics did go after Kevin Love also. Like he would have been a good fit. He's just another all Ford off the bench.
Yeah.
So
No, with Kevin Love, I think the reason they didn't go for him is perhaps they felt like, I mean, obviously his best days are better, but they felt like, he's just like literally like a role player. Like I think what we're seeing with Kevin Love now in the starting lineup, uh, I think is
was
surprising. Is
right.
surprising a lot of people. right? So I think the Celtics were assuming this that Kevin Love is history, right? So, but yeah, I think it's going to be. That's what I'm saying. I think it's fair enough to look ahead because for the Sixers, do you actually see the Sixers coming back and making this a series? That's it can only happen in two situations. One is, of course,
Uh,
Harden gets out of his mental funk.
right.
That's one. And the second is Celtics go back into their mental funk. I don't think that's happening again. I think the Celtics now,
They
I
had
think
a wake up
should,
call, is it?
yeah, I don't know, but it's always
No,
hard to
man.
predict with the Celtics. I don't
I
think,
know, right? They last year many people said, "Oh, this is their wake up call. Oh, this is their wake up call." So that never happened.
yeah, yeah.
So I am rooting for the Warriors and Celtics to match up again in the finals because it'll be a fun series. The most talent on the floor, in my opinion, when these two teams match up. But let's see. This Celtics team, guys, just keep your mental edge. I will say there's one very interesting trivia which I learned recently.
Hmm.
So the Celtics coach Mazzulla, Joe Mazzulla, he's 35 years old, and he's been taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to prepare himself for the playoffs.
Wow.
To get in choke holds, to get beaten up, to simulate that high stress environments. So that was a very interesting thing I read.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. I think that's I'm fascinated by that. I think that does make a difference because you
Right,
have to be in that fight or flight mindset. I mean, literally
right,
no flight, like fight or die, right? So,
right.
so yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
Uh,
He dude, and you should look at some of his interviews and all. He looks like a complete like robot psychopath killer type of person. Literally looks like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So anyway, let's move on to tomorrow's games. We have two exciting games tomorrow, guys. So the first game is, of course, the Celtics and the Sixers. Now, this game, Gopal, the only way they win, in my opinion, is this: if either Joel Embiid or James Harden go for a 50 piece.
I
And
think
I think even then it will be a very close single possession or two possession game.
I think Embiid is trending in that direction because if you look at the previous game, he played, I think, definitely a lot more minutes. He didn't look troubled. He seemed to be okay with his knee brace, right? So Embiid is definitely trending in that direction. I hope honestly James Harden just becomes clear again because it's so weird for a guy like him to be so indecisive. It makes no sense because yeah, I was just thinking like I can imagine if it's a if it's a rookie or someone with 2 3 years in the league being unsure, but this guy has literally been in this situation before. He has played with Harden for with Embiid for so many months in the regular season,
Right.
not being able to make that adjustment of being aggressive, being passive. Like he was driving into the paint, he was wide open, and then giving up the shot. The spectators were groaning, man. It reached that point, right? So yeah, I don't even think even if it's not if they just be clear. I also think Tyrese Maxey uh, should. I don't think he was that effective. If you look at the
Right.
previous game, I think someone like him should have. Even he can have a breakout game. I think Maxi is someone who can definitely drop 30, right? But he has to be able to get out in transition. I think he's a guy who thrives on pace and speed and quickness. So if the Sixers are able to get out in transition and change that side of the game and make it a transition sort of game, then I think they have a chance. Because otherwise, this is the same thing like you said, right? The Celtics know how to guard against Embiid in half court.
So let's see what happens. So I don't know again unless Embiid or Harden have a huge game. I think Celtics take the next game as well. And the Suns Nuggets. That's another game which is there tomorrow. Oh man, I'm. This is going to be
Ooh.
a dog fight.
This is going to be really, I think this is going to be very, very intense because I think now Jokic is not chilling anymore. Okay. I think those chill days are gone. Jokic is going to come like to like full intense. Like we're going to see the Joker who's not going to make jokes. Like he's just straight up, he's going to come. It's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be intense. Must watch, I think, the Nuggets Suns.
Yeah. So
Nikhil, you have to
guys.
wake up. You have to wake up at 1 o'clock.
Oh man, I don't think I'll be able to wake up for that game. I mean, I'm. Look, if it was a Warriors game, I would have actually woken up. But I don't think the Celtics are losing this tour. It's look, I made it very clear, like the if the Celtics don't have a mental fart, right? If the Celtics don't have a mental fart, I don't see any team stopping them, honestly, even in the finals. That's the only thing. Like with Celtics, so here, this is very, very difficult to say if you think about it. You don't tell this for a lot of teams. The only way the Celtics lose is if they decide to lose. Right, Gopal? Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
if they're just not, so let's see. Because that's how they look, man. That's how they've looked. Very, you know.
Okay, let me flip it. Okay, if the Celtics win it all,
Mhm.
then are we looking at a dynasty? That would be the other flip.
Right, right, right. That's the thing, right, with this team, because they've been together for so long, they've been so deep. I mean, I don't know, like if Jason Tatum manages to win, and then Jason Tatum manages to win, another one after
Dude, that's like
this.
Jordan Pippen, bro. Like
I swear,
Jalen.
the thing with the Celtics team, which many people don't realize, is they're damn young. It's like the Warriors 2015 again, super young core, lot of veterans around.
Dude,
Like,
I am thinking of the Bulls. I'm going to that level. Like 7, 8 years, Jordan was struggling,
right,
right? So yeah,
I
there's so much at stake for the Celtics, dude. It's like dynasty or breakup.
I swear.
Wow.
I hope they understand these are the stakes they're playing on, and take it seriously and actually make a dynasty, because I don't think you're gonna get that quality of wing talent again anytime soon. This is just amazing quality of wing talent. Celtics, Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown in this generation are what Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were supposed to be.
Hmm.
Historically,
Yeah.
it's happened how many times? It's happened like 3 or 4 times, dude. This level of wing talent. Celtics, I mean Jordan Pippen, and then you could make a case. That's it. Like who else? Tell me.
Yeah, yeah. There's no one else. That's what I'm saying. It'll be great to see a superstar wing team win titles because I think now a lot of skepticism is coming in whether
Right.
such a team can win it all. So I think Celtics have a lot at stake, even in terms of they could change again. They could change the dynamics of how teams are structured, right?
Absolutely.
So
No,
very
and
very
I don't do it. And they got super lucky drafting both these guys, dude. Like, it's really hard. Really, really hard.
yeah.
So, anyway, this is all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. Gopal, see you in our
Bye
next
bye.
episode.
Yes.